Good evening, everybody, and welcome. We have a bunch of people on Zoom here, as well as a few of you that have joined us on Facebook. So welcome to everybody. I think we have a fantastic session today. We're going to be talking about CAMSC. Those of you who are wondering how to pronounce Canadian Aboriginal and Minority Supplier Council, it's called CAMSC. And to tell us more about CAMSC, we have with us Cassandra Dorrington, the president and CEO. So we can hear everything from the horse's mouth. Those of you have any questions, you can send us your questions on Zoom, or questions as send us the questions as a comment on Facebook. We'll take it from there and get it to our panel. Also, with Cassandra here, we have two people. We have Neel Patel, who's representing a supplier that has CAMSC certification, and we'll be talking about how they've used CAMSC certification for their benefit. We have Kiruba Sankar from the city of Toronto, who is a user, a business that uses CAMSC certifications to make sure that they know which suppliers are minority suppliers, and we'll hear how they use the CAMSC certification. So moving on, my name is Vijay Thomas. I'm the president of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. Those of you who attend our Thursday talks every Thursday probably see me here often. Those of you joining for the first time, I am the president, and we're trying to do a Thursday talks every Thursday, 4:30 p.m. And we've done this without fail from the beginning of this year. So there is a very good chance at 4:30, if you come to the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, you will have something interesting playing. So moving on, what are we going to be discussing today? I think people have been talking about, Black Lives Matter, Brown Lives Matter, BIPOC. There's a whole bunch of different things that have been talked about over the last couple of years. It probably, amplified quite a bit more last year. So the biggest, challenge for minority-owned businesses is access to the mainstream market. So we're going to be talking about how, by having a CAMSC certification, they can actually get maybe a leg up in that race. How do you plug minority small business owners into the corporate and government networks, and into the supply chain and procurement process? And this is where CAMSC would come in. So we have Cassandra Dorrington, president and CEO of CAMSC, and as I mentioned, Kiruba Sankar and Neel Patel of CSI Consulting. So moving on, the ICCC Small Business Assistance Program is something that I want to just spend a minute on. This is something that we have done over the last year. This is to help small businesses. If you have a problem, could be COVID related, or could be anything to do with your business, finance, technology, send us an email to iccc@icconline.org. Just say Small Business Assistance Program. We'll connect you to one of our members that is an expert on this subject, and for free you will get 1 hour of assistance. And in most cases, 1 hour of assistance from an expert is all that you need. And that's something that we've been able to do very well, and we definitely want you to take us up on that. So moving on, a little disclaimer. The information provided at these webinars are only for general information purposes, does not constitute legal or professional advice. There's a bunch of stuff in the between there that I let you read yourself. And at the end there, the views expressed by the speakers are their own personal opinion, do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the ICCC. Now that you've heard that, there's no way you can sue us anywhere. And what we're going to be doing here is Cassandra Dorrington, Kiruba Sankar, and Neel Patel will follow that direction. And let's move on. We'll start with Cassandra. Cassandra will do a little bit of introduction. She's the president of CAMSC. The CAMSC efforts focus on development of successful working relations among diverse suppliers and Canadian businesses. She oversaw the implementation of many electronic online tools that ease supplier access to the CAMSC certification program. Keeping in mind Canada is a large country, dispersed population, the tools, she's created a lot of value for suppliers and CAMSC members while promoting the CAMSC brand and increasing the Canadian marketplace awareness of the advantages of supplier diversity. I will let Cassandra take the stage now. And Cassandra, if we have not said enough about you, and I know there's a lot of verbiage there, but we've probably missed some things, please feel free to add in, and welcome on board.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Vijay. I'm delighted to be here. I'm excited about the opportunities we're going to talk about today. So let me jump right into it. So let's move into who is CAMSC and why are we here? What are we talking about? So if you can, okay. Now, basically, I want to just tell you that those of you who know us, we've been around for 16, 17 years. Those of you who don't know us, the whole purpose is we are trying to connect the diverse population, the diverse business owners into the supply chain of corporate Canada. And the whole purpose of doing that is to grow and strengthen our economy, the global economy, and that we have an impact on what's going on. So anybody who's listening, who's in business and says, how do I access this and what does it mean to me? So let's move on. Okay, you've heard Vijay use the term supplier diversity. I want to be very clear. The whole essence of what we're doing is we are trying to make sure that those who are underrepresented at the procurement table get represented. So we want to bring you into the mix. And what does that mean? That means that we're talking about minorities, we're talking Blacks, we're talking Indigenous. And then there's other groups similar to me who are talking women exclusively, they're talking LGBT, and they're talking persons with disabilities and veterans. The whole purpose of that, it's not a guarantee of work, it's not a guarantee of anything but being invited to the table. We are expecting, we anticipate, and we know we have qualified business leaders, business owners who are bringing value, whether it be product and or service to the table. So there's no guarantee of anything more than being invited, and now with the value we present to the table, being able to bid on the opportunities in front of you. So we're working close with the corporations across Canada and beyond to make this happen. So let's go to the next, let's move on. What I want to say to you is CAMSC is sitting here in Toronto, but we cover the whole of Canada. We have our reach across the nation, and we do so through our own network. And we also connect with these other organizations such as WeBe Canada, IWSCC, CGLC. We do that in aspect because they might have corporations who are looking for diverse suppliers that they can't supply to. They reach out to our network and we're able to connect the dots on that. Not only do we cover Canada, but we also cover globally. We have a reach across the globe into various countries so that if you are export ready and you want to be connected in, we can connect you across the globe. As well, we have our connections in the US that we definitely connect, whether it be NMSDC in the US and some of the other partners that we've signed MOUs with. Suffice to say, what I want to say from this is that wherever you want to do business, we probably can connect you into that. And that's the important aspect, because you know it's how hard it is to find who's the right person, who's the right organization. We want to expedite and facilitate that for you. Let's go to the next. Now, how do we do this? CAMSC, well, we sit here in Central Canada and we have a small crowd. What we do excel in is we have partners all across the nation and beyond. So we're able to get your market profile, our word out through our many partners, of which Iccc is one of our partners. And so therefore we have other partners with, it can be Nova Scotia, the Black Business Initiative. We can be partnered with Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Most recently, we signed a partnership with TechNation, who has an IT portal in the Canadian government. We want to get anybody who has IT services to sign up to this portal. The Canadian government is very clear in working with TechNation. They want more diversity bidding on the opportunities. We're hearing that. So if you haven't already talked to us about the TechNation portal, please connect with us and so we can get you into that. That's very important. We're also tied into the Magnet database, and Magnet is if you want to do global opportunities, they're trying to get diverse suppliers who want to do global opportunities. How do we get them connected into that? And most recently, we've touched base with Futurepreneurs, who's looking to say, are there youth? And there's youth business owners. They want to have some of our more senior business owners mentor some of these youth. So if you have the opportunity and the need to want to be able to help the next generation beyond, that's a perfect opportunity for as well. So it's well-rounded in what we bring to the table. Let's move on from there. Now, I want to paint the picture. CAMSC, what we do is we connect with certified suppliers, corporate members, government agencies, and we have partners who help us with this. So our main driver is who do we have in our database? Who do we have? A corporate who's looking to expand and looking to make an inclusive supply chain, and the government agencies who are either looking to provide resources or who have procurement opportunities. That's a circle, or that's a cycle in which we work. So if I tell you, what I want you to think about when you see that cycle is, who are we actually working with? What's exciting, let's take me to the logos. Let's take a look at the logo page, the next page, okay? I want you to take a look at this. I know it's probably small on screen, but we have about 85 to 87 organizations we are working with across Canada and beyond, who want to do work with diverse suppliers. They are clearly knocking on our door on a daily basis. Hopefully some of these logos resonate when you look at them. So whether it's somebody like all the banks, we basically have all the banks across Canada who are lined up with us. But we also have the Rogers and the Bell who are lined up with us. We have TELUS who's with us. We have the automotive companies who are with us. Most recently, we've had Facebook sign up. We've had Apple sign up. And so from municipalities, we have City of Toronto, we have City of Brampton, we've had others who are coming to the table. From university, we have Ryerson University, U of T's most recently started talking to us. There's a range of organizations depending on who you're looking to do business with. If we don't already have them, you can bet they're knocking on our door right now. And most recently, we've had people like Nike who's rung us up and say, we want to actually access your diverse suppliers. So it's all exciting. And I say that because depending on what your product or service is, there's an opportunity for you here. Next slide, please. How does that actually work? It works to you become certified with CAMSC. And it's very basic criteria, 51% owned, managed, and controlled, either a minority and or Indigenous. We're looking for for-profit businesses operating in Canada and are located in Canada, and you are a supplier of products or services. So what we found out over the years, we used to have just a Canadian citizen, and we moved to permanent residents and US citizens. US citizen, you must also be certified in the US if you're coming into the Canadian marketplace with one of our councils down there. But permanent residents, you might be here and had lived here for a long time and do business here. We want to make sure we include you in the economic supply chain that we're working with. So those are the basic criteria. But the process, if you go online into our database, it's a 10-step process, which I've identified there. Might look a little bit overwhelming, but you'll hear later from one of our suppliers very well that once you get through that, once you append your information, then you're in. I mean, that's a small price of admission. And what that enables our corporate members, and you'll hear from Kiruba thereafter, is to identify a market profile, who you are, what geographic territory you service, what your product or service is, and so they can actually reach out to you to invite you into bid. So I just want to lay that out, that very, very straightforward process, all online. You can append all your documents there. Because with our partner with Iccc, we have a discount for your membership in year one. So we'd love to see you come on board. And I'll finish it all with just a couple more to be able to say, we have a range of events, much like you have a range of events, and they're all bent on networking, connect you into the corporates, connecting you into potential buyers. So we have a range of things upcoming, most recently in April 20th, 21st, 26th, and 27th. If you're already in the network or not yet in the network, please get in. We're going to be having matchmakers that you'll have the opportunity to set with corporates at the table, and that one-on-one to be able to identify what your value proposition is. That's really important. I want to end with saying that the fair, as I just told you, but I'll end on the last slide. Part of the fair this year, we've identified a pitch competition. We're looking for you to be able to provide your pitches. We have a range of corporate judges, and we want to raise your profile on who you are. So please take a look at that. I just think it's an exciting opportunity. As I said, we're getting calls all the time. So please take a look at the site if this aligns with your growth initiative. We'd love to see you. So I'll hand it back to you, Vijay.
Thank you very much, Cassandra. And I've heard great things about your events and full disclosure, my company just very recently became a member. So we're looking forward to getting to some of these events. So thank you very much. And Kiruba, I know has a time constraint. So I was going to say if the next was Neel, I was going to do Kiruba, but Kiruba comes up right away. So we will do Kiruba right away. So Kiruba Sankar is from the City of Toronto, from the procurement group at the City of Toronto, and he's got a whole lot of experience in business, experience in developing strategy, execution, transformation, management of IT category, RBC, supporting technology operations, PNCB, capital markets, wealth management, insurance, INTS, business units across enterprise. He's now with the City of Toronto. And Kiruba, you sit on the other side of the table. So the suppliers and most of the people in our audience are the suppliers. So what we'd like to know is what do we what kind of face do we wear when we come to see you, that we'll obviously have the CAMSC certification, but over and above that, obviously, CAMSC is one, but also how do we do more business with the City of Toronto? And then you've also worked with RBC. So, some words of advice in terms of, what should suppliers be looking at? And I think from a procurement, from the other side of the table perspective, some words of advice to our members. Kiruba, I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. So again, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, Vijay, and also Cassandra for inviting me for this session. It's a great privilege to participate with Iccc and to also share the information about opportunities for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. I don't want to say it's only small businesses. There are big businesses with Iccc as well. So it's for all of you to see how you could take the opportunity. So being on the procurement industry for the last decade spend time with the financial industry, and also now on the public sector. Recently, I've taken the position at City of Toronto. So one of the things what the business owners should understand is, many large corporations and government sectors are, focusing on the procurement divisions to create economic inclusion. Okay, what does that mean is, if you've seen the slide which Cassandra showed, there are many logos you'd have seen. So basically, if you look at over 80 plus companies, including the public sectors, their procurement divisions are opening up opportunity for CAMSC certified suppliers. So just to give a perspective, the size of that scope is, definitely could be more than $200 billion. Okay, so I'm just giving a lower ballpark number. For that many corporations have the procurement buying power, right? And that buying power is creating an opportunity for diverse suppliers to participate, right? Now, what we have to think about is the business what you are in. Are you looking to supply to the corporate side or the government side, right? It's not everybody's wanted to be on that business. Some of them might be more focused on the retail side. Some of them might be focused on a small business side. Some of them is focused on the large corporation or the government side. So this specific area, what we are talking is very much focused towards to the corporate side and the government side. So if you're looking to gain access to those areas, so this is the right thing to think about. Now, being certified, what is that? It really provides the benefit to you. So being on this side, I have to tell you that when we are in the procurement side, we are trying to make sure that the procurement process is being followed, and in the process, we are trying to make sure we create this opportunity for diverse entrepreneurs, right? Now, that brings us a question about how do we validate if they are truly a diverse supplier? Now, when that kind of validation, kind of needed, we go in to work with, councils like CAMSC. There are other councils like, which are WB Canada, and then CGLCC, IWCC. So these councils, they are nonprofit organizations. They are trying to, help and support various diverse business groups. So today, CAMSC is focusing on minority business owners and Aboriginal business owners. So they are trying to make sure if those suppliers are certified through them, they could be invited into the corporation or the government side of the procurement opportunities. So that kind of gives us, from this side, when we look at inviting a supplier, and if they have the certification, it provides us the confidence to say they are truly a diverse company, correct? Owned by the diverse entrepreneurs. So that's kind of an important thing. What you need to think about is to get the opportunities. Being a certified supplier will open up the door for you to participate in various procurement opportunities. That doesn't mean that you're going to get the business. You still have to perform and win the business. So basically, the certification helps you to be to enter into the door, right? So then once you come inside, it's purely the same play of level playing field, where every suppliers are equally created, and then ask them to put in their proposals, and then they go on compete with each other. So that brings in to say, you need to think about how to position your business, how to make sure your values are provided properly, and then so that you could be able to win that business. So there are some organizations, they are also looking at, for example, if you have the certification, that also creates a merit for you. Okay, so for example, let's say there are two companies trying to propose a value proposition to the organization. And let's say if both of them are equally priced, but one of them is a diverse supplier, one of them is a non-diverse supplier, correct? When that situation comes in, then the corporation might pick up the diverse suppliers because they have the certification. So that will win you the extra merit to get that business. So that's how it is being done. But I don't want to say diverse supplier getting the certification, it's going to get you the business just by like that. It's not going to happen that way. You still have to, compete and win your business, which kind of thing, which what is fair for everyone as well, right? But it's also the other thing what you need to think about is getting certified with CAMSC also open up the door for the international businesses as well. For example, how they are tied with other councils in the US and UK and South Africa and China. So it kind of provides you the connection to work with other country councils as well. So it's definitely a greater opportunity for business owners to think if they wanted to expand their customer footprint, in a broader area beyond Canada as well. So I will park by there. If any questions there before 5 o'clock, I can answer. Otherwise, sorry, I have to jump into another meeting at 5.
Okay, I get. So Neel, we might have to put you on a little hold. We'll try to get a couple of questions. You could probably go get some coffee quickly, but I'm just kidding. Okay, just hang in there. But we'll have some quick questions for Kiruba. Kiruba, the question for you from the audience here is: what are the top 3 areas the city procures? Is it EPC or others? What does the city buy? Like what does your group? What are you buying? What are you buying? Your top 3 areas.
Yeah, so at the city, the biggest area of the spend is construction.
Okay.
So known to be, that's the largest spend they have. And then this also the various facilities in terms of parks and others, maintenance of that. And then you also have the water and sewerage areas. Those are the kind of a very high spend on City of Toronto, but also to look at it from from my previous jobs, especially the financial industry. When you look at it, a major spend for them is on technology areas and professional services areas.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's the question that was there from the audience for you. The second one was, so within the city, in terms of IT, I think there's a lot of people in the IT business here. So does this help? The IT people also, if you're a company that's based in India, this is only Canadian companies, right? Because is this an Indian company considered a minority company as well?
So for me, I kind of, let me answer on behalf of Cassandra. So when you see that criteria which they mentioned, correct? One, the company has to be 51% owned by minority. They should be having the Canadian passport or the permanent resident status, and then the owner should be, either Canadian citizen or at least they should have the PR status here.
Okay, so the large Indian companies like the Infosys or TCS and all, they should not, they would not fall in this criteria.
That's correct. They won't, as a public companies will not follow because they don't have the 51% ownership.
Okay.
It has to be the owner has to have 51% ownership, and they also should operate the business. It's not like only owning the business. It should be majority owned and operated, and then having the certification that applies them.
Okay, so it is the spirit of it is in the building diversity, but not just providing a SOP to a certain type of people. Okay, fantastic. I think that answers the question. I don't know if anybody has any more questions. Kiruba is in has another meeting to go to. I don't see any more questions directly for you, Kiruba. So I think we can let you go. But if you want to stay for a few more minutes, you can stay by. If there's any other questions, we'll send it your way. But I think on behalf of everybody, I'd like to really thank you for your time. You've given us a great perspective, and we probably will have you back here at the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. It's a great perspective. I think a lot of our members are small businesses, people who do business, suppliers to some of the companies that Cassandra put up there. So we definitely would like to have any bit of help, mentorship from people like you on the other side will definitely help. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Vijay, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Sorry, I need to run, but it is a great pleasure to be there and then able to share some thoughts there. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we'll move to Neel. Neel Patel is joining us. He's the business development manager at CSI Consulting. So obviously, the question here is, does the certificate help with business development? Neel, we'll like to hear that from you. And also, some bit of stuff about CSI. And again, it's got a whole bunch of stuff here about you and CSI. We will let everybody read through it. If you want to add anything else, please go ahead. Over to you, Neel.
Thank you, Vijay, and thank you, guys. So first of all, thank you for inviting me to this panel. And talking about our experience with CAMSC over the last, I don't even know how long, 6 years since I've been at CSI. Just to give you a bit of a snippet about CSI, we're an IT consulting company, headquartered in Toronto, founded by the CEO, or previous CEO was Ajit Somashwar, who was an ex-VP of CIBC. You guys all probably are very familiar with Ajit Somashwar.
Yeah, I was going to interject. He was also an ex-president of the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, yes.
Yes, and advisor to the CIF and all that lovely stuff, right? So you all probably know the story about CSI. Like I say, it is an IT consulting company. We provide expertise from a solution-based standpoint and from a staff augmentation standpoint to our clients. I'm going to repeat a lot of the stuff that Cassandra and a lot of the stuff Kiruba has said. CAMSC is great because it really gives us that foot in the door. When you're competing in such a volatile marketplace, especially when it comes to technology, having little things in the back of your pocket really gives you that up when you're going into your clients, right? As Kiruba said, if there's a client that doesn't have CAMSC certification and there's a supplier that does, it gives us that little bit more of a push in the door. What has been great about CAMSC is it's the networking. The fact that Cassandra and the team is essentially matchmaking suppliers, small, medium-sized, minority type companies with these big players. A lot of companies wouldn't know how to pick up the telephone and go speak to Apple or CIBC or Bank of Montreal or RBC or Toyota, name, all those 80 plus logos on the page. Some people wouldn't know how to pick up the phone and where to go. So with Cassandra and the team and the platform that CAMSC has, it really gives you that opportunity to reach out to these companies that a lot of the members would want to do business with, but in a very targeted way, which gives you as an individual, as owners of your business, to really sell your products and services the best way you think with these multi-million, billion-dollar companies. On the other side of it, there's also opportunities when the corporate members actually reach out to Cassandra and the team and says, hey, can you match make me with some of your suppliers? So we've had a few opportunities where it was either Cassandra or one of her team members had actually reached out to us directly and said, hey, one of our corporate members is looking for IT consultant services. I'm going to connect the dots. I'm going to set up a conference call, or do that virtual connection, and then I'll let you guys carry on with it. So that's a very good platform as well. So I've covered kind of the from a supplier standpoint, going to the corporate members, and the corporate members coming to the suppliers. But really more importantly is when we're closing deals and doing proposals, one of the common questions nowadays is, are you certified, minority owned, LGBT, all those lovely councils. So the fact that you can tick mark yes really gives you that foot in the door. Yes, you have your Infosys, yes, you have your TCSs, yes, you have all these big corporations, but as Cassandra said, it's not for those people. It is for us small, medium-sized companies, and especially in a time like the pandemic, it's a great avenue for us to really pick up the phone and reach out to these procurement people and say, hey, I'm certified. These are the services I have to offer. I know you guys are buying. Let's do business. Now, it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, we'll be all rich and sitting in penthouses everywhere. But obviously, there's a little bit of work that is involved. But as entrepreneurs, we all know that we have to wake up, pick up the phone, reach out to prospects and clients, and do business.
So, thank you. So, Neel, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, honestly, to be honest, I think Cassandra and Kiruba had covered everything.
Sure.
Like I said, from a user standpoint, it is a great avenue to navigate these big corporations, because sometimes we don't know who to call, who not to call. And I think Kiruba may have mentioned this, with the big corporations, there's a lot of procurement in place. You can't just walk in and say, I'm Neel Patel from CSI Consulting, let's do business. They have protocols, right? And the big corporations also have, when they get audited, they also have to show that they are doing business with minority diversified companies. And it's not just to the big players out there. So if you're not knocking on the door, there's no opportunities there for you, right? So I would, in my recommendation, CAMSC is a great platform. I think Cassandra and team do a fantastic job, creating these events, networking events, matchmaking events. There's awards, galas, recognition for these suppliers that have done a stellar job throughout the year. And the only way to grow is to get those accolades under your belt with a platform like CAMSC.
Thank you, Neel. And I think that's fantastic. So we had the CAMSC perspective, we had a buyer perspective, and we had a supplier perspective. Now I think we're going to go to questions. We have questions from the audience. I'm going to take a couple of questions that Cassandra was quick. She answered some questions right here on Zoom, but I will, for the benefit of those who are joining on Facebook and can't see this, the question was, what are the top 3 segments that CAMSC members belong or get jobs? Okay, so the answer is key areas for CAMSC suppliers are manufacturing, IT services, and professional services. Now, Cassandra, did you want to add anything to that? What's the next 2? Like, what's the top 5? Just generally, if we were to talk about what kind of vendors, what kind of suppliers, and could this be people just supplying to flour to a bakery. I don't know. I'm just, we've got all kinds of, members. So should anybody, I'm almost thinking this can apply to anybody, right? So, shouldn't everybody join up for this?
Well, VJ, let me just say, that's always a funny question when people ask that, what's the top? Because really when we think of 2020, the world shifted in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, 2020, we had governments, everyone beating on our door for PPE, and he's doing this, who's doing this. All of a sudden, the cleaning service got huge in PPE. Staffing services got huge in PPE. IT services, because everyone went home getting PPE. So you really have to be relevant with what's going on now. As we're into business resumption right now, what does that mean? That means as companies are looking to open their doors again, they're looking for security, they're looking for staffing, they're looking for cleaning, there continue to be cybersecurity. There's so many issues, and it really depends on what your company sells and what people are looking to buy. When we think of things like, when you think of, let's say Kellogg's and Sobeys has recently joined us, food has gotten huge over the past year. Food services, so if you're in the food service business, you have a particular product or service, or you're packaging, things like that, these are huge now, because they are looking, when you think about the grocery stores and the way they've stepped up and they have food delivery and everything else, if you have innovative ideas, if you pivoted your company in any way, now's the perfect opportunity to come out. If you're targeting a particular organization, because when I think of these organizations now who are pledging money to have diverse suppliers there, some of them don't know what they don't know. If you have an innovative idea, it's incumbent upon you now to come out, knock on the door, and let them know that. The government of Canada has been big on looking for innovation. And when you think of, they've been strapped in so many ways, the amount of technological change, and I know Neel can tell you, the amount of technological change that's happened in the past year has been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So if you're in that business with your services, they are looking for that. And they are looking to say, where do we find this? And as I said, we are getting corporations on a daily basis knocking on our door. As I just said, Nike's just knocked on our door. I don't even know what they're looking for, but they've come in, knocked on our door. Apple, for sure, when they open up, Apple's going to be saying, as when you think the shopping malls start to open, they have stores in all the shopping malls. If we are moving to a smaller segment, do you don't think they might want to have smaller stores? So they're going to be doing building that looks smaller. Everybody's going to have contained services until we have a bigger space for people to come together. All the things you can think of as our world's changing, depending on what your business is, there is an opportunity for you.
Okay, fantastic, Cassandra. And Cassandra, a question here, and this is partly, my company, we're an IT services company, IT, solutions company. We just signed up. So what happens? How does this life cycle happen, right? Let's say some of our members like us get signed up, they get certified. What happens next? They send you a resume, they come and present to you. How does this work? I think Neel's mentioned that they've already found the fruits of their labor. How long does it take for us to see something like this happen, right? Are we talking months, years? What does it take? Like, how does it? What's the expectation? And everybody in the audience is also saying, we get signed up, nothing ever happens. What is the probability of? I don't think everybody that signs up gets business as well, right?
Okay. Now let me put it in a nutshell. Am I the fairy godmother going to give everybody fairy dust here? No. But what I am going to give you is an incredible network that you can work. An incredible network of new corporations are coming all the time. What I anticipate that I have a group of very smart business people listening to us today who have a very target of who they're trying to do business with. You see them in my lineup. We can break it down to the individual you can actually reach out to have set up that call, have that discussion. Okay. The nice thing about what we're talking about is this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. We're in the relationship building business. We're in setting up the tone for you to actually start that discussion dialogue, because any of the contracts you're not getting a contract that's for $20,000 and one and done. You're building on a longer term contract that has you in as a preferred supplier. So you're building the relationship. They might have just signed something last year. So you're a little bit late to that party, but you're building the relationship. So when the contract opens again, you're now ready to bid on the contract. You've worked out, I know how to do business. They know who we are. And all of a sudden you're bidding the contract. You get invited, you get shortlisted, you get the contract. So what we're trying to do is set the stage for you, build a longer term perspective on how you do business. If you're sitting home waiting for me to call you and invite you in, this is the wrong organization to choose. I mean, that might happen, but what I need are you to be active and letting us know who you're interested in. As corporations come to us, and we have them, some of them go search in the database. So if you have a great market profile, great keywords in your profile, they're going to go looking for that. So if someone comes to me and say, I need someone in artificial intelligence, if you haven't mentioned that in your profile, then we're going to pull up all the IT and they're going to reach out to you. Do you do this? That takes longer. But if you're going to identify some of those keywords, that enables us to find you. So when someone reaches out, can you send me everybody you have in this area? We're able to carve that out and send them across, or they'll go search themselves. So when opportunities come up, and we also, Vanden on my team, she'll put on an e-blast with, if any new opportunities, we try to put those in the e-blast. We try to make it as easy for you. So pay attention to the e-blast. We're trying to put them on the site. We're trying to get it, and we're in the throes of revamping our site. So middle of June, we should have a new site. We want as much information coming at you, so you now have choices. You say, oh, I see there's a range of, no, I don't fit those, but oh, those are different than last week's. That's good. Let me see what's coming up next week. Or you're saying City Branches just signed on board. They're anxious to get their program started. Let me reach out to Claudia and team and let's see what are their opportunities, because they're really anxious to be successful in their first year of the program. So it's things like that. I want you to be active. Let me know what I can do to help you, because the opportunities are there. Let me navigate. So if Apple's phoning in, or Apple's doing, or somebody's, let's say, let me see somebody else. I think we have, I'm just trying to think who just signed on to me recently. Let's say Microsoft is knocking on the door. Microsoft says, we want to talk to this. I want to be able to line up and how to do business with Microsoft, have you at the table, get some introductions back and forth. We're trying to do a supplier connected, get suppliers connected to suppliers. I just think the range of opportunities is endless as to how we can help assist you. You let us know what that looks like and how we can make that happen.
Yeah, I don't know, for some reason in the end, you went on mute. Neel, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Maybe it's on my side. Is it, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good. So you guys can hear me. I can't hear myself. Okay, so that's a little bit of a problem. But so I think the next question that we had here is, was from, for technical engineering services included, what are the top 3 areas for CAMSC? I think, Cassandra, you answered that as well. Technical engineering services, big area. Automotive, infrastructure relates to government to corporate build. We also have 2 or 3 questions from Facebook. I think one of the questions is do you have connections with grocery stores, and also one with home improvement, home decor, home sense. So 2 questions. One is Loblaws. I think you did mention Sobeys.
Okay.
But, if you can just...
Yeah, so Sobeys just came on board as a corporate member, and they are excited as all get out. And think of Sobeys as the 2nd largest food retailer across Canada. So you can imagine all the brands underneath Sobeys. So that opens up a big wave of opportunity for people. And so, as I said, they've just came on at the end of last year. So they'll be at the procurement fair, and they're anxious. They're really anxious, and they're identifying where the opportunities are and where they want to get diverse suppliers on board. So that is big for us. The other one, we say home decor. We've just recently, TJX is coming on board with us, and TJX is a winner.
So what about the Ronas, the Home Depots?
We don't have the Ronas or the Home Depots yet.
Okay.
We've been talking to them, but we don't have those guys yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think one other question very specifically about exports. If somebody wants to do business in the US, and you talked about the NMDC, what is the process? Like, how do they, is it automatic? How do you, if you want to start doing business, because in the US and in my company, we have operations in the US as well. And there's a check mark, as Neel mentioned. So how do we get to a point? Now we've got the CAMSC Canadian check mark, right?
Okay.
What does it take, and what is our journey now to get the US check mark as well? Is that automatic, or do we need to do something else again?
No. Okay. So yeah, you're certified CAMSC. You say, okay, so what do I do now? So if you identify there's a region in the US you want to actually do business, the corporations you're interested is down there. Then you, because you have your certification, you go down to the council, let's say in New York, New Jersey, something's there you want. You go down, I'll connect you to Terry and Kind down there. You buy what they call subscription services. That gets you into his network to identify and meet with the people that you're interested in doing business with. The fact that you're CAMSC certified, he said, yeah, okay. But if you're just you were not CAMSC certified, you went down, he said, no, I can't help you because it has to be in the network. It's sort of a membership, so to speak.
So it's only an administrative thing. Then you take your CAMSC certificate, they then put you in, then now in that area, you're on board. Now, is there a region specific? Is there a all US thing?
It depends on the region you go to, because they're broken down to about 24 separate councils in the US.
Okay,
So
that sounds like a lot of money to me. I'm just
well, yeah, you're a business based, not that much money. I mean, if your end product's millions of dollars of what you're looking at, a couple $100 is a small price to pay to get you there. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. So, any more questions from the audience? I think TJ Maxx are the owners of HomeSense. So our person asking questions is happy. So if you get that going, I think you probably have another supplier signing up right away. So we've got the 30% off for ICCC. I was going to say, Cassandra, can we run a promotion like you see on TV, right? Call now in the next 30 minutes. and what do they get?
Oh dear Lord, I love that. You're made for television. You know that, right? You're made for television. But in my mind, the reason the timing is really important, and it's really great that we're doing this now. With the procurement fair in April, we're going to have plenty of buyers around tables.
Okay.
Now, we all know the process is I can send out emails back and forth. I can respond. That takes a year and a day. That takes time. You build time. But if you're actually going to see somebody, and whether it's Zoom or not, you actually have this one-on-one time. That makes a big difference in moving that relationship, moving you closer to what are the opportunities in bidding on contracts. That's what I want to put in front of everybody right now, that timing of the April timeframe. And so if you're not certified, getting yourself certified, we need to do that now. We need to get you in now so you're ready in the April timeframe, because that one-on-one matchmaker is only for certified members. So that's why I want that to be important.
Fantastic. And if somebody did that, they had all the paperwork, so you can guarantee as well, they would be in by then.
As I said, it's typically 30 days to get in.
Okay.
If indeed you're missing the mark on that, there's an expedite fee to get you in, but I want to see how many can we get you in now while you're in that bubble of time.
Fantastic. Okay. So we have access to the CEO of CAMSC here. I don't have a cell phone number, but I can probably find it. But if you guys need to get on there, please go find a way to it's CAMSC. The website, we definitely, I see a great potential here, and Indo-Canadian entrepreneurs. Here is an additional thing in your arsenal, right? I mean, as Neel mentioned, it is something that you have in your back pocket. Everything being equal, you show the certificate, and if that puts you over, so be it. I mean, so you don't lead with it. But obviously, as Kiruba also mentioned, everything being equal, it does help, right? So I think that's a fantastic way to look at it. Also, with CAMSC helping you, and CAMSC is gets more powerful as it enables more and more. It helps more buyers find diversified suppliers, and the more suppliers it finds, the more both sides are happy. And they're playing matchmaker here. They're providing a platform for both sides, and I think it's fantastic. So I think we'll just ask. We've got a few more minutes. We've got 10 minutes more. If there's questions for Neel, I think there's one question for Neel here. Neel, if there's other CAMSC suppliers, right? When you come to this, is it a feeding frenzy? How do you differentiate between other CAMSC? Like, is everybody have a CAMSC certificate now? I mean, my company, we just got it recently, so we don't know, but you guys have this for 6 years. So is this really a differentiator, or does everybody have it?
So it is a differentiator. What I would say is there is a lot of technology-based companies, right? Vijay, you said it yourself, you're a solution-based company, right? So the nice thing also is, though my competition may be next to me, we can also network with each other and help each other out, right? So tomorrow I can come to you, Vijay, now, right? And say, hey, I actually have a client that needs expertise in AI. You have your company, right? So now collectively as suppliers, we can work together and fulfill our clients' needs, right? So it's not just about corporate members and suppliers. It's about suppliers networking with each other. You know, I was at an event at CAMSC. It was one of the TELUS roundtables in the TELUS building right by Go Station. And I was sitting at the table with some family-run manufacturing companies. And you know, at first I was like, well, I'm here for the corporate members, right? I want to be in front of CIBC. I want to be in front of TD. I want to be in front of all these big corporations. But then what I realized was that manufacturing supplier also had a need that I could fulfill. And through networking and building those relationships, and this is what Cassandra is emphasizing on, is building those relationships that, hey, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but maybe in a month or 6 months' time, because you've built those relationships with these crucial people, that business will come back to you. So don't be afraid that your competition is also CAMSC certified, right? What makes me and my organization different from my competitors is we've been in business for 20 years. You know, we've had a lot of success in our journey, but more importantly, Neel Patel works for them. Right? Bit of an egotistical comment to make, but hey,
absolutely, yes.
You know, it's just you know, it's a great avenue to network. I'm telling you, not just from corporate members, but from suppliers. And if you guys are scared of competitors, then business will be, you know, life cycle of a business is very short, right? Don't be afraid of competition. It actually makes you better.
Yes.
Thank you. No, Neel, I think that's great perspective. Again, if you didn't have this, you know, and now having it is a plus, definitely a plus. It's not going to hamper you. You know, you're definitely not hampered, right? Would that be a right statement?
You're not hampered. It gives you, like I said, it doesn't guarantee you business because you still have to sell yourself and your business and your company to the member. But it gives you credibility.
Sure.
Because a company has now certified you as a minority-based organization, and Canada is very big into supporting the small, medium-sized businesses, right? I could say tomorrow that I'm a small business, but do I have any documentation to prove that? And the fact that we have the CAMSC logo on our email signatures, when we're doing RFPs and proposals and they asking the question, it's just like a pre-qualification of the process. It kind of I wouldn't say fast tracks you, but it can potentially speed up the process to the goal you want to get to. But you still have to work hard and pick up the phone and, you know, reach out to Cassandra and the team, reach out to these companies directly, build those relationships, and the success will come. I think it took us 6 months before we started getting that ball rolling. Yes, there's a bit of a learning curve and process, you know, educational side to it. But like I said, Cassandra and the team are, you know, they're experts in what they do. They've had success, right? They've been in business and been doing this for a lot more years than I've been in business. And they're doing a great job, right? And they're respected in the Canadian economy, right? So I would say jump on it.
Okay, fantastic. No, thank you, Neel. And I think that's you know, a big reference, you know, a shout of confidence in CAMSC from CSI and Neel Patel there. So Cassandra, we've got you know, so I think I've got some questions. It almost seems that people are ready to buy. How do they get the 30%? Is there a discount code? How does this work?
Yeah, we'll send a discount code to Mayank, so Mayank can distribute to you. Yeah.
Just let us know. Okay, this is good. So these are buying decisions. When people ask you how to do this, this is good. This is good news. This is good news. Okay, so we will send you a discount code. Mayank ji, if you're on the call, we will be getting that, and if we will follow up with you, Cassandra, and we'll send it out to the people. There's another question that is on the thing. I think I know the answer, but I'll still ask that. there is a requirements, but I think that requirement is more from a buyer perspective. You have to give some reports. How much are you buying from minority suppliers, right? Is that a supplier requirement as well, or is it only a buyer requirement?
That's going to be on the corporate side, because what
On
they're
corporate
trying to
side.
do is like, if they're doing it, they want to ensure you're doing it. We're seeing that being pushed along, that if they have a supplier diversity program, they'd like to know that you're actually doing the same thing, that we're
Okay.
living and breathing that.
Okay, excellent. Now, and is this mandatory? Is this people doing it just to be good corporate citizens, good, or is there any kind of government mandate that they should do this?
There's no government mandate. In the US, it came as a mandatory requirement of the government. In Canada, it just makes business sense. We see startups and we see excellent companies, and it makes sense. These people are not doing this to be altruistic. Business is business. They are finding good quality suppliers. There's startups happening at a faster rate, the innovation that's coming through. So when they're doing it for the reason because it's driving their competitive advantage.
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. No, just wanted to just get the picture.
Yeah.
So, but in the US, it is mandatory. So again, those of you who are considering with USMCA, you can actually do business in the US and Canada quite easily. And maybe that brings the question with USMCA, does this go to Mexico as well?
A lot of our automotives are in Mexico, because if you remember a couple of years ago, a lot of the automotives opened up separate divisions down there. And I know the US has talked about trying to create a council like us in Mexico, but I don't think they've done that. But if you're working with an automotive who's in Mexico, it works the same way for us. Yes. Okay,
excellent. Now, I think it kind of, I think we've got to the top of all the questions. Now, I have a few of my own that I would want to ask, and so with CAMSC, what are the next steps, right? I mean, in terms of everything's evolving as well, right? I mean, and then this is probably a little philosophical. The demographics of Canada is changing.
Yeah.
So, at what point do you think, and I'm saying this out loud, I'm the Indo-Canadian Chamber of Commerce. When do Indo-Canadians not become visible minority? It's probably a little bit of a loaded question, so I kept it to the end. So at when does this change? Do you have a crystal ball on this? What do you think?
Well, what you're saying, that's when we come back to meeting together over drinks, that's a drink question for sure, right? That's a cocktail question.
But how does this change? I mean, what I meant is, when does this, so right now we know what's visible minority, but does the government change this from time to time? Who does it? Is it not mandatory? Does CAMSC do that?
While we're working within the government, the consultations around the term minority has been around since the Employment Equity days in the 80s, right? And then when the Employment Equity Act came out, we're now hearing more racialized, and that's the term they're using. But the problem is we're still talking about who's not represented around the procurement table. So, and we're trying to get a better handle on that. So don't want to lose being able to identify, because other than that, they'll say, oh, we're giving to all SMEs, everybody's got a chance. We want to still be able to identify who's not being there. So from a demographics perspective, we're definitely seeing a lot more racialized people of color who are entering Canada. But from an economic inclusion perspective, we're not seeing that. And so until we see a lot more of that, I do not expect this to go away. We're working with the government soundly on trying to get Treasury Board to put a policy in place that they are now having procurement with diverse communities. We want to have that. The government has one with the Indigenous community called Procurement Strategy for Aboriginal Business. They have a set aside. We're not looking for a set aside, but we're looking for inclusion in the billions of dollars the government spends. Right now, they have them with the Microsofts, they do with the Accentures, they do with all big business. What about the SMEs who make up so much of what the Canadian economy is? That's what we're pushing hard on. We want a Treasury Board policy that every government department, not just PSPC, is now pushed out to actually do this spend with diverse suppliers.
Fantastic. Cassandra, thank you very much. I will take you up on that cocktail offer, and we will have some discussions around this. But okay, everybody in the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, nothing's changing very soon, but but still go get there, get the membership, and so once you're in, right, Cassandra?
Once you're in, you're in.
Once you're in. Yes, there you go. And Neel, thank you very much. I think it was a very informative session. I definitely, as a business owner, think this is something that we will definitely consider, and I'd like everybody, the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce, the ICCC, to look at it very seriously, and I think to make use of this opportunity. With that, I'd like to call upon my colleague Bhavik Parekh. Bhavik is our director for ICT and membership, to please close the show and to thank everybody.
Thank you, Vijay. Friends, I'm Bhavik Parikh. I'm a Director of Membership Engagement and Information Technology at the Indo-Canada Chamber of Commerce. It is time now to acknowledge all our collaborators for this afternoon's extremely interesting and relevant webinar on Canadian Aboriginal and Minority Supplier Council. On behalf of our chamber, I express our sincere gratitude to Cassandra Dorrington, the President and CEO of CAMSC, for agreeing to devote her time to participate in our webinar. Our thanks also to CAMSC team for helping us organize the webinar. Our deepest gratitude to Kiruba Sankar from the City of Toronto for finding time at such short notice to participate in today's webinar. He had another commitment, but even then he shared his experiences at our webinar. So thank you so much, Kiruba. We also appreciate the presence of Neel Patel from CSI Consulting. Thank you, Neel, and thank you to Karan Ahola as well for CSI Consulting. We acknowledge the support we receive every week from Tangentia, our technology partner who have been helping ICC mount these webinars since April 2020. Special acknowledgement to our gold sponsor, Turkish Airlines, and our sector sponsor, State Bank of India, Canada, ICICI Bank, Canada, Seneca College, Rakesh Vijay and Raymond James, and GD20. Gratitude also to our media partners, Weekly Voice and PTC Punjabi Canada. Last but not least, a huge round of applause to our audience. It is your continued support that gives us the necessary encouragement to organize these weekly webinars. Stay tuned in for the next session on Thursday, March 18. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a nice one.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.